Good afternoon, everyone. It is with great pleasure that I welcome you to the 5th annual Inspiring Mothers Awards Luncheon, where we recognize the dynamism of motherhood and lift up 6 amazing women who continue to make an impact on their families and the community at large. I remember growing up looking at my mama, Miss Valisa Shepherd, as if her whole world centered around me. And I basically figured that she was supposed to do all the things that she had done for me. The very fact that she dropped out of high school and that she absolutely loves to dance, but rarely had a chance to, or how she held several jobs just to make sure my brothers and I were fed, meant absolutely nothing to me when I was growing up. Well, now, after almost 19 years since the day I found out that I was going to be a mom myself, I can tell you how much I see and appreciate how absolutely human and exceptional my mom is. With very little money and a whole lot of love, she raised 3 kind human beings who went on to graduate high school and college, as well as go on to be leaders in the community, things that she only aspired to do. That's why today is so very special to me, because I get to join folks from around this great state in actually seeing whole selves. We as mothers are not only the masters of cleaning poopy diapers or learning how to create a Five Nights of Freddy paper mache costume when they ran out at the Target around the corner. We're also mothers, we're business leaders, we're neighbors, we're sisters, we're friends. We wear a multitude of hats. When this mom here is too tired to play mommy robot, I somehow muster up the energy to do so just to see the smiles on my sweet little boys' faces. And when those little humans are full of energy and anger sometimes, we put on a raring game of rock, paper, scissors just to quell tension in our homes. Well, and today I am just super excited to be joined by community members at large in recognizing just how many hats moms wear and actually truly seeing them for all of the amazing contributions that they make to the community. This idea of seeing moms is deeply rooted in the founding of HMHBGA. And for over 45 years, we made a commitment to improving access to health care and health outcomes for Georgia's mothers and babies. Some of the ways we do that is through education, advocacy, and access to vital resources. But more importantly, what we do is recognize just how critical moms are to our state and to our families. So now I'd like to shift a little bit and just point out the amazing sponsors who helped us plan this event. Northside Hospital, United Healthcare, Emory University Department of Pediatrics, Johnson & Johnson, Molina Healthcare, Regal Lager Inc., Siegel, Auto Owners Insurance, Public Supermarket Charities, Keller Williams Commercial, Amerigroup, and Framework Marketing. I also want to take a moment to lift up our board of directors and staff who, without them, this event wouldn't be possible. Thank y'all for all of the amazing work you did in helping us recognize the mothers and babies across this state. Next, I want to shift a little bit and tell you another story. Yes, I know, Kai Lindbergh, the new ED of HMHB, loves to tell stories. Well, one thing you may not know is that I am a new Georgian. I've only been here a little over 2 years. And when I moved here, my husband and I, we really didn't know a lot of people. I went to this event at the United Way and crossed paths with this dynamic woman. I gotta tell you, when I sat and listened to her speak, I was in awe, and I knew there had to be some way in the future where her and I could connect, and I am thrilled to share with you that this woman, Neha Nagandi, is our MC for today's event. Neha is a top-rated social impact consultant and an award-winning nonprofit community leader. Social Measures, her social impact consulting company, helps businesses integrate and engage social impact practices. Her former radio show on social responsibility measures social good with Hollywood leaders, insiders, and athletes through their philanthropic and foundational efforts. Her deep-rooted connections booked guests such as Ariana Huffington, CeeLo Green, Jeff Foxworthy, and so many others. She has interviewed hundreds of leaders for radio and print articles about the importance of giving. She continues to talk with leaders about their social impact practices, including Dr. Sanjay Gupta, former Atlanta Falcons head coach Dan Quinn, and Malcolm Jamal Warner, just to name a few. She serves on the executive board for the Junior League of Atlanta, Inc., as well as Pretham Atlanta. But more than all of those things I just shared, she's also a mother. She's kind, she's dynamic, and she also helps me in ways that she'll never truly know. It's with excitement that I shift over to our MC, Neha.
Thank you for that lovely introduction. My name is Neha Nagandi, and wow, Kai, we share more than mamahood. We share a sisterhood together. Thank you so much. I am so proud and delighted to be the MC for the Healthy Mothers, Healthy Babies Coalition of Georgia's 5th annual Inspiring Mothers of Georgia Awards event. What an honor it is to be with you all today. You know, in 1972, President John F. Kennedy asked the states in the Union, can you devise a plan? Can you get together and devise some strategies to help lower the low birth rate? And at that time, Georgia had one of the lowest birth rates in the nation. A group of people came together to form what is now Healthy Mothers, Healthy Babies Coalition of Georgia. These 14 advocates set out to create a mission which still stands true to this day, which is improve access to the care, especially prenatal care and immediate postnatal care of Georgia women, children, and families. And it is one of the only nonprofits in the state of Georgia to do this very important work. Now, what an honor it is to recognize mothers, the ones that are putting on so many roles every single day at this amazing award show. Now, as Kai mentioned, I am a mama. I'm a mama of 2 young children, and I understand all the different roles that we have to take on, including being chief doctor in residence, head chef, chauffeur, teacher, chief hugger, friend, teacher, and the list goes on and on. But the most important thing that I think that we can do, the best role that we can serve, is the role that we give to ourselves. Let's remember to practice self-care and self-love and self-grace, because it is through us, when we do that for ourselves, is that we can give that to our children, our families, and then even our communities. A couple of housekeeping things that I want to mention are, please go ahead and post comments. I know we're still in a pandemic where we might be coming out of it, but we're here virtually, but we love to hear from you. Let us hear you. Post your comments in the comment chat box. Tell us what you're thinking, what you're feeling, that it's a great day, a beautiful sunny day outside. We're really thrilled. We welcome to hear from you, and we cannot wait to hear from you. So please do that. I also want to mention there is a text to give phone number at the bottom of your screen. Did you know that the verb form of the word mador, which is the word that how mother comes from, it means to take care of. And when we're able to take care of everybody around us, including our children, our families, and even ourselves, it takes all of us being together to do that work. So let's go ahead and text. Let's go ahead and text to that number so we can give, we can donate, and make sure that Healthy Mothers, Healthy Babies of Georgia is keeping on continuing doing its good work. And what and who doesn't love a good prize, right? So let me tell you that we have tons of fun raffle prizes to be given away throughout the program. But the 2 ones that you're really going to be interested in are 2 hat fabulous participants are going to get Best Overall Hat and Most Unique Hat. So there's still time. Go ahead and grab your hat, dust it off, put it on, because we're going to be giving out some fabulous prizes that are going to be judged for those two important awards, Best Overall Hat and Most Unique Hat. So please put on your hat. We cannot wait. And later on in the program, we're going to be able to see those as well. So now I have the pleasure of introducing our guest speaker today. Dr. Dabney Evans is an associate professor of global health at Emory University's Rollins School of Public Health. She is director of Emory University's Institute of Human Rights and the Center for Humanitarian Emergencies in the Rollins School of Public Health. Since 2010, her teaching and training have touched over 19,000 learners. She is responsible for the training of 1 in every 10 employees at the U.S. CDC, Center for Disease Control. Dr. Evans was the instructor of the first English language massive open online course on Ebola virus disease. She is a published author. Her work has appeared in Specific Standard, Atlanta Journal-Constitution, Ms. Magazine, and The Hill. She has given a TEDx talk in 2015. Please, let's welcome Dr. Dabney Evans.
Thank you so much, Neha, and thanks for having me. I'm honored to be with you today to celebrate these 6 inspiring mothers: Velvet, Charmaine, Tammie, Clarissa, Tina, and Angela. I send you my warmest congratulations, and I'm so grateful to Kai Lindbergh and the entire Healthy Mothers, Healthy Babies Coalition of Georgia team for hosting this wonderful event and inviting me to be with you today. Now, before we begin, I want you to do me a favor. Imagine me with a fancy, bedazzled Wonder Woman crown on my head. And I'm not talking about one of those cheap costume headbands. I'm talking about a real tiara with gold metal and a big ruby gemstone, just like the 1970s Wonder Woman had. Can you see it? Good. Now, as I'm talking, I want you to keep imagining that crown on my head. A few weeks ago, my son celebrated his 8th birthday. It was his 2nd birthday party during the pandemic, and the first time in nearly a year that he had played with other kids in person. Last year, at the start of the pandemic, we knew so little about how the disease was spread. So I made cupcakes, which we individually distributed to the neighbors' porches. Everyone came onto their yards at a designated time and sang happy birthday. Then we did a Zoom play date. It was not his best birthday party ever. In fact, although it was probably underwhelming, my son didn't seem to mind. After all, he still got presents and cake. And the pandemic was young. He didn't know then that it would be another year before he would play with other kids. But I did. You see, I'm the mean COVID mom, and I work in public health. So I had a jump start on knowing what was coming. I was supposed to travel to Thailand in early 2020, and the event was canceled due to COVID. From that time on, I was closely watching the spread of the disease. And once it hit the US, I knew it was going to be a long haul. Because both my mom and I are high risk, we took things very seriously and have basically been isolating the entire year. And my son has done remarkably well. He's an introvert, so he actually didn't mind being at home. He also has several learning differences, and school can be very stressful for him. Unlike many kids, he's thrived in an online environment where he can take his time to do assignments. At some point, the other kids in the neighborhood began playing together outside. My son wanted to play too, but like I said, I'm the mean mom. So my son spent last summer playing in our yard alone, except for our pandemic puppy. At one point, I almost caved to let him play with other kids. But as summer went on, more and more of the families around us had cases of COVID. And let me say this, I know how privileged I am to be able to have a job that allows me to work from home and have the support of my mom, who's provided care for my son during the pandemic. The past year has been challenging for everyone, but mothers have felt that burden acutely. And I know you all know what I'm talking about. The theme of this event, Mothers Wear Many Hats. During normal times, we balance our professional lives, our personal relationships, and parenting, all of those things that Kai and Neha mentioned at the beginning. During the pandemic, that juggling act has felt even more acute. At one point, I even considered adding first grade teacher to my signature line. One friend said, "It's exhausting being the family brain." Mothers are the ones that keep the machine moving, and our ability to multitask is one of our superpowers. And so when I first thought about what I wanted to share today, I thought that's what I would focus on. Our abilities as mothers to do all the things. The ways in which day after day, we're superheroines. Remember the Wonder Woman crown? So this year, when I asked my son how he wanted to celebrate his birthday, he told me he wanted a T-Rex party. And one thing you should know about my son is that despite being a complete introvert, he loves event planning. For example, every Friday night is movie night. He'll pick the movie ahead of time and then tell me what he wants to have for dinner to complement the movie. So if we're watching a cowboy movie, he wants steak. When we watch Tom and Jerry Take New York, he wanted New York cheesecake. You get the idea. So for the party, we set up dinosaur-themed socially distant games like charades for kids and Foursquare. We spaced blankets out on the lawn and ordered pizza and cake. It was a great time, and it was the best we could do given the pandemic circumstances. I felt comfortable allowing kids to play with one another with masks on, and because now I've been vaccinated. After playing with his neighborhood friends for the first time in a year, my son told me it isn't fair that grown-ups get to be vaccinated. He wants his vaccine as soon as he can get it so that he can play with his friends again. And I hope this is something that can happen soon for all of us. I would be remiss in my public health responsibilities if I didn't tell you all to please continue to follow public health precautions against COVID. Watch your distance, wash your hands, and wear a mask. And of course, get your COVID shot if you haven't already done so. But I didn't come here today to tell you about COVID. That's something all of us already know a lot about. You may be surprised to hear that I did come here to talk about birthdays. And as nice as it might be to share fun birthday party themes and memories, I want to tell you now about a birthday memory I've never spoken publicly about. You see, while my son's birthday was a happy celebration this year, it wasn't always that way. In fact, the day he was born was the worst day of my life. My son was born on April 15th, tax day. And you know the saying by Benjamin Franklin, nothing is certain except death and taxes. The tax day my son was born, he nearly died. I married at age 36, and by the time I was pregnant with my son, I was in that infamous medical category known as advanced maternal age. By the way, and for the record, while being over 35 may be on the older side for childbearing, it is by no stretch old age. But that's a talk for a different day. Because of my age and diabetes, my pregnancy was considered high risk. On my first doctor's visit confirming the pregnancy, my OB told me he would likely induce me at 38 weeks. Little did I know I wouldn't make it that far. But that visit planted a small kernel of doubt. Mostly, though, I was convinced that everything would be okay. I went to all my prenatal appointments, kept my blood sugar under tight control. I took prenatal yoga, and I even got a doula. I was doing everything I could to take care of my child. After speaking with my doula, she suggested I consider changing doctors to someone who specialized in vaginal deliveries, a doctor who had a very low C-section rate. I visited the doctor and ended up switching over to his care with hopes that I'd be able to deliver without an induction. The trouble began on April Fool's Day. I was 34 weeks pregnant and went in for a prenatal exam. My blood pressure had slowly been creeping up at each visit, and I'll never forget when they told me they were going to admit me. I thought for sure it was an April Fool's Day joke. Instead, I was diagnosed with preeclampsia, and I was not ready to have my son that day. I spent the next few days in the hospital under observation, my blood pressure being monitored every 15 minutes. I remember writing a grant proposal while I was in the hospital and creating my own system of biofeedback. Every time the blood pressure machine began, I would take deep breaths, consciously trying to calm myself, slow my pulse, and keep my blood pressure down. To this day, whenever I get my blood pressure checked, I take the same deep breaths. And it worked. After a few days, I was released to home. About 10 days later, there were early signs of placental degradation, and I was admitted for induction, the exact thing I had tried so hard to avoid. Because of my preeclampsia, I was placed on a magnesium drip. My vision of taking hot showers, walking, and doing yoga poses during delivery was thrown out the window. I would be hooked up to IVs and kept on my left side for the next 3 days. Now remember, I told you I'd switched to a doctor with a low C-section rate, but what I didn't know was that this doctor would do anything except a C-section. Over the next 3 days, I wasn't allowed to eat or drink. I vomited hourly as a result of the magnesium, and I was given 6 doses of Cytotec or misoprostol to start contractions. But my cervix wouldn't dilate even a single bit. My son wasn't ready to come out. To this day, my son will say how much he liked it in that cozy cave. Finally, on the 3rd day, I was given Pitocin and an early epidural. Later that day, labor began in earnest, and by mid-afternoon, I was in active labor. What comes next is mostly a blur to me, but there's one moment that's frozen in my head. It's the moment I disassociated from my body. I'm in the bed, my legs up in stirrups, and they're telling me to push. My son is crowning. They're telling me to push, but he's stuck. My son's father later told me that he heard a resident say, "The baby will not come out." My doctor replied, "He's coming out." He then proceeded to place his foot on the end of the hospital gurney while attempting to pull my son out through the use of forceps. Other than the image I just described, the only thing I remember is the fetal heart monitors going crazy. My son was in distress. I don't know how much time passed, but soon there were many, many people in the room, and I was being rushed for an emergency C-section. I remember being paralyzed from the neck down and thinking that I couldn't breathe because the epidural was so strong. My son was out, but he wasn't breathing. As it happens, I did my master's thesis on the Resource Mothers Program, and one of the things I examined were APGAR scores, which measure heart rate, breathing, muscle tone, reflex response, and color of infants. Each item gets scored from 0 to 2. Most babies receive a total score above 7. My son's score after 1 minute was 5. What I didn't know then was that my son was experiencing a syndrome known as MAG babies due to prolonged exposure to magnesium in utero. The same magnesium that had made me vomit over 3 days had also affected him. Infants exposed to magnesium in utero are lethargic, more likely to require respiratory assistance, and more likely to be admitted to the NICU. My son had suffered oxygen deprivation. His left arm had been paralyzed in a brachial plexus injury, and his skull had been fractured by the failed forceps. He was whisked away to the neonatal ICU while I went into recovery. We both spent the next week in the hospital. He slowly regained movement in his left arm, and his skull fracture and the resulting hematoma slowly healed. My blood pressure fluctuated wildly over the next few days and eventually stabilized, but our healing was only beginning. As a result of his birth trauma, my son has several lifelong learning differences. My son's father experienced PTSD. Every time he saw my naked body, he flashed back to the moment I described during the delivery. The experience affected our relationship, and our marriage didn't survive. My own healing experience is ongoing, but it includes reconnecting to my body. I've realized that I can't watch childbirth in any way, shape, or form, including on TV, even if I know the birth will be okay. Something that's beautiful to others is terrifying and overwhelming for me. I also have a lot of anxiety whenever a family member, like my sister or my cousin, is giving birth. Mostly, I was devastated by the feeling that I had failed in my first act as a mother, bringing my son safely into this world. But that feeling of failure wasn't true. The truth is, I did everything I could given the circumstances. Recovering from trauma is really hard, but it's important. Not just for my son, but for me as a mother and as a whole person. Because the potential for healing is another superpower that lives within us all. As I mentioned at the beginning, this is the first time I've publicly shared this story. And there's one main reason why I wanted to share this experience with you. And that's because I know exactly how privileged I am that my son and I survived. Given my public health background and knowing what I do about Georgia's maternal and infant health outcomes, I feel confident in saying that if I were a Black woman, I probably would not be here today, and neither would my son. Georgia ranks 50th out of 50 in maternal mortality rates in the US and has a higher maternal death rate than Uzbekistan. It's one of the most dangerous states for a pregnant woman, even more so if that woman is Black. The maternal death rate for white women in Georgia is more than twice that for white women nationally. And the maternal death rate for Black women in Georgia is twice that for white women in Georgia, and 6 times the rate for white women nationally. Half of Georgia's 159 counties have no OBGYNs. And the outcomes for babies are nearly as bad. 2 babies die each day in Georgia, and the infant mortality rate for Black babies is double that of white babies. More than half of infant deaths occur during the first 6 days of life, and prematurity is the most common cause of infant mortality. Yet, there's no public office or department at the state or federal level that's currently reviewing birth injury prevention like the kind experienced by me and my son. And that's where organizations like the Robin Project, founded by my friend Paige Rowe, and Healthy Mothers, Healthy Babies Coalition of Georgia come in. The Robin Project, which acts as a subject matter expert for Healthy Mothers, Healthy Babies, focuses on childbirth safety, something providers and patients can agree on. It focuses on the often undiscussed facets of childbirth, such as birth injury and emotional trauma, by advocating for the needs of patient families within healthcare systems. And of course, since 1974, Healthy Mothers, Healthy Babies Coalition of Georgia has been the strongest statewide voice for improved access to healthcare and health outcomes for Georgia's mothers and babies. Through advocacy, education, and the provision of access to vital resources, it's the only organization in Georgia that focuses on the full spectrum of maternal and child health concerns, from prematurity to maternal mortality. You've heard me talk a lot today about mom superpowers, our ability to pull off birthday parties in the middle of a pandemic, to keep our kids safe from COVID, about being the invisible brain that runs our family, our abilities to multitask and manage work, family, and relationships, our miraculous ability to give birth, our ability to heal. Like I said before, when I first thought about this talk, I really liked the idea of a superheroine theme a lot. You see, I'm a lifelong Wonder Woman fan. Can you still see that crown I talked about earlier? It started when I was a little girl in the late 1970s, watching Linda Carter play the iconic figure. I even had Wonder Woman underoos. As I got older, my interest continued, and I learned more about the history of Wonder Woman. How creator William Moulton Marston based the original imagery and mythology on the suffragettes, and how his lover was the niece of Margaret Sanger, the founder of Planned Parenthood. If you're at all interested in this stuff, you have to read The Secret History of Wonder Woman. I was so excited to gather with you and celebrate our superpowers as mothers. But lately, I've become disillusioned with the idea of superheroes. For one thing, the recent reboot of Wonder Woman was absolutely terrible. And the more I thought about it, I realized there's something else that's been bothering me about the idea that mothers are superheroines. Don't get me wrong, you are amazing. The problem is, superheroes are a fantasy. They're perfect beings that we all look up to. They never struggle. They never make mistakes. They overcome all obstacles, and they never seem to fail. They're not human. I don't know about you all, but this is not my experience of motherhood. Being a mom is hard work. I make mistakes every single day. And there are times that despite my best efforts, I feel like I've failed. So I hope that what you take away from today is a belief in our superpowers as mothers, and the knowledge that sometimes doing all we can is the best we can do, even if the outcomes are not what we wished for. So I'm taking off that Wonder Woman crown. I'm turning back into Wonder Woman's alter ego. I'm just a regular human being, doing my best every day as a mom with all the other hats I wear. There's one more part of my birth story I wanted to leave you with. In the recovery room, I heard the nurse say, "As soon as you can walk, you can go back to your room." I immediately mustered some superhuman strength and began sitting up. She yelled, "What are you doing?" I said, "You told me I could see my son when I could walk out." She said, "I told you you could go when you wiggled your toes." We don't have to be superheroines. We don't have to be perfect. All we have to do is try our best and wiggle our toes. Thank you.
Dr. Evans, what a wonderful speech. I was moved by your story. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. I know that it moved many of us in the audience today. I'm so happy to hear that your son is celebrating birthdays. What a wonderful, wonderful way to bring together us all, in not only in your story, but like you mentioned, every one of us here has a story. And when we are vulnerable enough to share that, it brings out the authenticity in that story, right? And so thank you so much. And I love Wonder Woman too. I used to watch the 70s version of it, just like, when Linda Carter was Wonder Woman. I remember those. I remember the lasso and all of it. I remember play acting it with my sisters. Really, really, really well done, Dr. Evans. Thank you for all the work that you do in our public health system. And thank you for being a wonderful mama and having parties for your son. You know, It's funny that she mentions this because I too have a 12-year-old son, recently turned 12 years old. His birthday is April 10th. And we too went through this whole COVID thing about how to celebrate birthdays and had the Zoom calls, and who all can relate to that, right? And we want our children, we want them to be happy, but we've all been sort of sidelined and, got guardrails up because of this pandemic. So kudos to all of you mamas for going through birthdays and parties and graduations and all of life's events and trying to make them special and wonderful in their own way. So thank you for that, and thank you for doing all these wonderful things. I wanted to kind of talk a little bit about the work that Healthy Mothers and Healthy Babies Coalition of Georgia has been doing. They've been around for 50 plus years, giving out this care, the prenatal care and the immediate postnatal care for our women and children and families of Georgia. Like I mentioned before, just last year, they helped out 50,000 families in Georgia. And I hope today you will help us raise that standard. Can you help? Can you raise your hand? Can you text that number at the bottom of your screen? Just text right now and make that donation. Can we sit here next year and say to each other, with each other's help, we raise the bar. We raise the standard of how many women and children and families that we can help. It's interesting when we talk about, and I want to talk about, and kind of bringing it sort of a little bit holistically too, when we talk about the journey to motherhood. Each of us has a journey. And if I would be remiss if I didn't share with you my story. When I mentioned that we have two children, I have a son that's 12 years old and my daughter is 3 years old. And it was not our choice to have our children 8 years apart, but it was the choice that was meant for us. And during that journey of 8 years of having my daughter, I can tell you that it was the most heroic and the most tenuous journey that I have ever been on. From IVF clinics, which took me all around the world. Yes, I was that person that said, I'm going to go to India to try 4 months of IVF. 4 months of living with my parents as a grown woman. It's hard enough to do, but I did it because you see your journey to motherhood takes you all the places that you may not always want to go. It takes you on a twist to the right, or maybe it takes you to an exit on the left. But whatever your journey is, I hope you know that Healthy Mothers, Healthy Babies Coalition of Georgia helps all of us, helps the women and the children. And when we come together as families, it helps us as a community. So I hope that if you know your journey and you know that it is a story to share, I hope you take that moment and you take that time to text to give. Text that number at the bottom of your screen. Let's see if we can together help more families, more of our children, more women, more families, that cohesively they may come together to help us make a better and stronger community. So can you do that? Can you do that right now? This is really funny because I have full of stories, right? Like Kai mentioned, maybe that's why Kai and I get together so well. We're full of stories. I went to an event. This is pre-COVID. And there was this beautiful woman, very well put together, that was the speaker at this event. And I thought, oh, look at her. We tend to do this, right? When we make these observations and then we sort of go through the lenses in our mind about what we think these people are. And I thought to myself, she's so well together. She has her hair done. It's completely tamed. And her makeup is flawless. Oh, she just must have everything. So she starts talking and speaking. And her topic of the day was about, what did you know? It was about women and mothers. And she started speaking and she went in and she said her own journey to motherhood. And when she had her child, she mentioned that she went into a deep postnatal depression. And these are some of the things we don't talk about, right? We don't talk about some of the things that we as mothers go through. Postnatal depression is a real issue. Mental health is a real issue. And again, Healthy Mothers, Healthy Babies Coalition of Georgia helps out with these types of things. They can make a real difference. And with your help today, we can make a deeper impact. We can make sure that women that are experiencing postnatal and depression have the help they need. So I hope that you will take this time right now, and text to give. Every amount helps. Don't think that, oh, if I just give, X amount, that it's not going to make a difference. That's not true, and you and I both know that. I hope you take the time, text to give. Just take 1 minute, make a text, send that text over. It'll send you back all the information you need, and give a donation in any amount that you feel like. I've mentioned Dr. Evans has mentioned her story. I've given you some insights into my story. I can rattle off so many more stories, and you yourself have a story. And if you think about that, and if you think about all the people that you know, and all the people that may help, think about that for 1 second, and I hope that you take action. Take action and text to give right now. I want to go into one of our favorite portions of the program. It is called the Hat Parade. Right now, remember I mentioned to you in the beginning of our program that you get to put on your hat, and you get to put on all of your favorite things. If you want to, put on your lipstick, put on your rouge, put on your my favorite accessory is your smile. That is the most favorite thing that you can do to help us show your hat. So if you remember, now the judges are going to be judging on best overall hat and most unique hat. So right now, I ask you, turn on your camera. Let us see you. Let us see your hats, because that is one of the most important things that we can see right now. And once I get to see you guys and get to see your colors and the creativity and all the beautiful hats that you have, I cannot wait to see that. So turn your cameras on. Let me see you. Oh my goodness, you guys are popping up. I can't, I'm so excited. Look at this. And I'm going to try to read these names, and I wear glasses too, so I may not get all the names right, but I do see you guys. Look at you. Oh, look at you fixing your head. And you know what I say? If you wanted to be a Vogue cover model like we all did, maybe not all of us, but I certainly did, then this is your opportunity. Get that Vogue cover shot done. Pose, slant that hat to the right, put your favorite pose on. We cannot wait to see you. Oh my goodness, look at you with that white hat and the purple flower. I love it. Oh my gosh, look at it. Look at you with that purple hat. Oh, and I see that yellow hat too. I love it. Look, yellow reminds me of the day we're having today. It's a gorgeous, beautiful day today. I love all these beautiful, beautiful hats. Oh my gosh, the judges are going to have a hard time today. Look at you. You keep showing and put your hats on. I like that blue one. That blue one hat reminds me kind of what I have going on too. That's right. I love it. I love it. I love it. Get your hat, get your smile on. I want to see you. Oh, I love what you guys are doing and showing. I'm telling you, the best thing that you could do, the best thing you can do is have a smile for somebody. You know it's free, but you know what a smile does really? A smile is your love token to somebody else. I honestly believe that. So, you know, I think one of our favorite things, or favorite accessories that we can put on is our smile. And you guys are doing a really good job of it. Oh my gosh, I love it. Oh wow, I love your hat with that red flower on it. Yes, I love it. Beautiful. It's beautiful. Yes. And your smile even makes it more beautiful. So good job. You guys are doing awesome. And I'm telling you, these judges are going to have a hard time today. They're going to have a hard time figuring this out. And they're taking notes and making their tallies now. It's going to be great. I am so excited. I love all the different colors that are popping up on my screen, from black, from purple, to yellow, to red, to white. Look at you all. I am so amazed. Fantastic. Fantastic. Yeah, this is what we need today. We need more of this, right? We need more hat parades. We need more moments of celebration, more moments of joy and smiles and just being happy, right? And we've all been through a lot of stuff this past year, and let's have more moments of being happy, right? So, let's go on into our next segment. Are we good with the judges and the hat parade? They're gonna pass me back my note card so I can make sure we go into the right next direction of the program, because I don't want to steer you all wrong, especially with those beautiful hats you've got going on. We want to thank each and every one of you for being here today. You know, this is a really special event honoring our mothers and Healthy Mothers, Healthy Babies Coalition of Georgia. And this hard work that they do, it cannot be done without people like you. So we really want to thank you, especially those outstanding women, those tireless visionaries that take care of themselves, their children, their families, and their communities. I often say, when you help one, it helps all. So we cannot be more grateful to all of you for being a difference maker and leading the way to make a bigger today for a better tomorrow. It really does help. It really does make an impact. It really makes a difference when we're all in it to help each other, and because we're stronger together. And I know we've heard that and it becomes trite, but think about it. Think about it 1 second and understand what that means, because you are able to take care of your children, take care of our families, take care of yourselves. And by doing so, you are amazing difference makers. So I thank you, and we all thank you for that. So the next portion of this is going to be a compilation video. The video is going to highlight the incredible 6 honorees that are awarded our Inspiring Mothers of Georgia by Healthy Mothers, Healthy Babies Coalition of Georgia. Now, let's talk about the process. You know, we get applications in not from the city of Atlanta, but the entire state of Georgia. These applications are read, they're reviewed, they're judged, and then these 6 honorees are then selected. So, you know, they have gone through the application process. They've submitted the application, then they've been read, been reviewed, and now we've got these 6 incredible women that have been chosen as our Inspiring Mothers of Georgia. I am just elated to introduce them to you. So if we're ready, without further ado, it is my honor to introduce you to Healthy Mothers, Healthy Babies Coalition of Georgia's 2021 Inspiring Mothers.
I am Angela Leon Hernandez, and I am an assistant professor of pediatrics at Emory University and Children's Healthcare of Atlanta. I was born in Bogota, Colombia. My dreams to become a doctor are maybe the result of the stories I grew up where I was born as a preemie. After I became a doctor and a pediatrician, I decided to come to the US to pursue an academic career. I immigrated here in 2008 when I met my husband, Richard Shea, and we married. And after that, we decided to complete our family, and we were blessed with the adoption of Luisa, Karen, and Diego. Being a mother and a working mom is something that is not always easy. I work at NICU, at the intensive care unit, and take care of little babies, most of them premature babies, issues that actually are life-threatening, and we have to intervene in order to keep these babies alive. This infant-mother separation also can have deleterious consequences in the future. Try to see how we can bring mothers and families together to mitigate the effects of this separation. I created a behavioral support project, and we have a conference to educate different providers about all the important aspects of early social and emotional development in children that are born prematurely. One of the most frequent outcomes in children affected by prematurity is language delay. We decide to create a program that is dedicated to teach parents the importance of reading to babies. I think always my parents teach us that no matter what is your career, no matter what you do, you are here in this world to help others.
My name is Charmaine Godley. I am a mother of 2 adult children, 1 son, 1 daughter, and 7 grandchildren. When I moved to Atlanta in 1989, I was a single parent and I had 2 young children. So I had challenges. I had financial challenges. I had social and emotional challenges, but we survived. The home that we're in right now is a home that I purchased as a single parent, and I have it in my will to leave to my daughter and her daughters. My daughter and I talk almost every day, or at some point in time we talked almost every day. So I really enjoyed all the aspects of being a mother. You know, sometimes people say, can you spoil children? It's impossible to spoil a child. The love that you give them is not spoiling, and it's important to give them your presence versus presents as in gifts. My mother probably was the most influential person in my life. She and my father were never married, so I was raised exclusively by my mother. Her parents were married for 61 years, so she had a framework for what husband and wives are supposed to look like, what siblings are supposed to look like. And so she poured everything into me, and she would always say, I want you to remember all these things I'm telling you so that when I'm not here anymore, you'll still have these things in your arsenal. I work for the United Way of Greater Atlanta. I'm the Director of Quality Improvements and the Early Learning Teacher Career Pathway. We have initiatives and programs in what we consider the Child Wellbeing Index area, where they are the high-need families, and we work with families and young children that are birth to 5 years old. We do lots of resources. We provide support. We do developmental screenings. We assess what the parents' knowledge has gained as well as the children. So it's very important work, and we get lots of people who are interested in funding it and supporting it.
I'm Clarissa Edmondson-Bridges. I am a wife, a mom, foster mom, entrepreneur. I am a certified childbirth educator, a certified holistic doula. I'm also a facilitator for Pickles and Ice Cream Georgia, and a volunteer with Embrace Friends of Refugees, and also a wedding and event planner. I was a teenage mother. I had my son when I was 17 years old, but my son is now 25 years old. Shania, my other daughter, she is a senior, graduating this year, class of 2021. So I'm very proud of both of my children. Along with my husband, we're foster parents. Because it's over 400,000 children in foster care nationwide. There's 6,000 children locally in Georgia. We have fostered over 25 different children. The children that we currently have is 2 children. They're ages 7 months and 20-month-old. They're a sibling group. The youngest one is medically fragile. She has lots of special needs. She sees a lot of specialty doctors, multiple appointments. With the 1-year-old we're fostering, he doesn't have any special needs. Some of the challenges at first was just finding that balance trying to figure out when do I schedule my clients, when do I schedule my classes. And what I had to do was just create a calendar, and I had to carve out self-care. And self-care was really what helped me balance everything. And every day I do something for myself, 30 minutes a day of self-care. I am also part of the 2018-2019 cohort through Healthy Mothers, Healthy Babies Coalition of Georgia. That was a 12-month program, and I became a certified childbirth educator. So I really appreciate Healthy Mothers, Healthy Babies Coalition of Georgia. Healthy Mothers, Healthy Babies has been the gateway into really helping me with being an entrepreneur.
Hi, my name is Velvet Wilson. I have 3 biological kids, 2 sons and a daughter. My oldest is 33, my daughter's 32, and my son is 28. I've been fostering for the last 4 years. We have had multiple kids come and go from out of our home, and now we have 2 that we are looking to adopt. I had Bo at the age of 6 days old directly from the hospital, and Rachel at 2 days old from the hospital. She's 9 months old. And they are the most lovable children you would ever meet. And why I love fostering kids and what keeps me going is just to give these kids a loving, caring, nurturing home. That's just my passion. My husband, he the one, he brought it to me because he had seen a lot being a police officer. And there was a need for kids who are in care to have love and nurturing homes. Motherhood is one of the most fulfilling journeys life has to offer, but it can be exhausting. Keeping 2 tiny humans alive and well is tough. Adding work into the mix, and I may find myself stretching myself kind of thin. I have been an educator for like 10 years, but due to my health, I could not go back teaching full time. I became a paraprofessional where I work with kindergarten. And outside being a paraprofessional, I do volunteer my time at the Safe Shelter for Women, where I assist the women and children in giving them clothes. The way I balance my day is I set a routine, be mindful of my time, and be fully present.
My name is Tina Hicks. I am a mom to 2 wonderful children, Mary Catherine, who is 24, and JT, who is 21. I am a wife to Lee Hicks. We have been married for 29 years as of today, and I've been nursing for 23 years. So there's a lot to me, and I enjoy every bit of it. I work for a wonderful organization called Nurse Family Partnership. We are out of the Houston County Health Department, and we serve first-time moms, low income. They have to be less than 28 weeks. We are a home visiting program. We want those babies to have a wonderful, healthy start in life. So we follow mom throughout her pregnancy, throughout infancy, and throughout toddlerhood. I tell my moms all the time, if they know what to expect, it's not near as scary. We sit down, we talk to them, we get to know them, we're there for them. If they need anything, they can call us, we can come see them. We have had several moms that have been in our program and that have graduated the program when the baby turned 2, buy a house, finish school. So we are just there to give her the resources that she needs to be able to have a healthy pregnancy, have a healthy baby, and to help take care of herself when we're gone. The story that comes to mind that I just absolutely love and shows about Nurse Family Partnership, she's one of my very first clients. So I was going into the home, went in the home, mom said, "We have a surprise for you." They take me down this little hallway and they have the baby come walking out toward me. And me and the baby are screaming at the same time because she wasn't walking last time I saw her. It brings me to tears that this mom was so excited for me to get there, number one, and to show me what her baby had done. That's just one of the biggest stories that I have because that's the reason I do what I do.
My name is Tammy Oliver. I am a certified labor doula, motivational speaker, author, mother, and wife. My childhood was kind of tumultuous, where I was a survivor of childhood sexual abuse, incest, molestation, gang rape, statutory rape, and I survived all of that. I ended up being a teen mom. I had my first daughter when I was 14 years old, but it was the love and the attention of a teacher, Tom Thompson, who pushed me and said, no, you're a straight A student. You still need to keep going. Don't give up. You will not be a statistic. So he enrolled me in a teen pregnancy program. That is where I learned that I was not alone and that I wasn't the only person who was going through this, and that I can choose the direction that I go in from that point on. So I started this journal, but the journal became my first book, which is entitled Secret Survivor, Her Story. But it was my way of getting my testimony out of my system and to help other people to be aware, not afraid, but for me, it was a way of me letting people know it's okay for you to talk. It's okay for you to tell. And what happened to you does not define you. You are not what happened, and it's not your fault. After this, and people reaching out to me and asking me, well, how did you get past it? Then I wrote Raining After the Rain, Living Freely After Abuse. I learned that forgiveness wasn't for them. It really was for me, because the more I held on to the hate and the hurt and the pain and the shame and the guilt of it all, the less I was able to live and the less I was able to give to my children. My oldest children were the ones who helped me to learn how to love, how to be loved, how to give love, because I was afraid to touch them. And so they helped me heal through that. And now all of my children are bombarded with hugs and kisses and text messages and phone calls and love and random acts that I do that only their mother do, including dancing in the middle of the street to a song that maybe me and another one of the kids like. My children are so vitally important to me, but the only way to love them is to know that I deserve to be loved as well.
Thank you to the incredible stories that we just heard right now. Those are you got to hear from our 6 honorees sharing their stories about their journeys, their impact. You know, we've talked about this, right? The many hats that the mothers wear. You know, we can go through that list, but the most important thing they do is give the care. They're the doers in our families, right? And we are so incredibly honored that you have chosen to do the good work that you're doing. Now, you've got to hear their stories through that compilation video. Next, you're going to get to virtually meet them in person live, because they want to share a few words with you, with words of gratitude and thank you for their not only their awards, but also for all the stuff that they do for our communities.
Good afternoon. It is an immense honor for me to receive the Inspiring Mothers of Georgia Award and to be part of the amazing group of women that are recognized today. While reflecting on the meaning of this award, the first person that came to my mind is my mother. Mom, I'm sharing this award with you. I also feel compelled to recognize other mothers. Mothers that are immigrant in the highest values of hard work, kindness, and respect for others. Mothers that are helping to build a better world. Mothers that work in healthcare as doctors, researchers, nurses, practitioners, psychologists, and social workers, therapists. Women that divide their time in between the care of their families and their patients and put their hearts in the mission of improving the health and well-being of others. The ones that treat their patients and families like their own family and provide care with excellence and compassion. And mothers of premature babies and all babies admitted to NICU, who teach me every day what real courage, strength, resilience, and infinite love look like. They are indeed the real heroes. My journey has not always been easy. However, I have to recognize that I can do what I do because I have been privileged all my life. I have the most extraordinary parents who taught me the value of hard work, faith in God, and the importance of serving others. Their stories about my birth, my first months of life as a premature baby, inspired me to become a neonatologist. Early in my career, back in Colombia and later at Emory and Children's Healthcare of Atlanta, I have had the opportunity to work with an outstanding group of health care providers to improve outcomes of infants and their families. I have the support of my husband, Richard, the love of my life, who understands my work and my passion for helping others and who will join me in the craziest adventures just because he loved me. One day, Richard and I decided to embark in the most incredible of all adventures and became parents of 3 beautiful and exceptional children. There is not one day that we are not thankful for them. I have seen our children thrive, learn new things, and unbelievable fast pace, whether at school or at home, learning how to read, write, swim, or bike. I have seen them try and succeed, or fail and try again. Feeling their love fills my heart with an overwhelming joy that is difficult to understand. Some people may say, of course, this is what it means to be a mother. But to me, it's more than that. My children are a living miracle. They are an everyday testimony of the immense potential that every human being has. There is no limit of what someone can achieve if provided with a fair chance. My children are my inspiration. I became a better person because of them. I am a better doctor because of them, and I will be forever grateful because of them. And in this moment of joy, I cannot stop thinking about the tears and pain of the mothers whose sons and daughters have never had a fair chance. Their call for justice needs to be heard. Thank again to Healthy Mothers and Healthy Babies of Georgia for this honor. It is more meaningful when it comes from an organization that is dedicated to improve the lives and health of infants and mothers in our state. I can't think of a more important mission. Thank you.
My name is Charmaine Godley, and I'd like to express my appreciation to Healthy Mothers, Healthy Babies for selecting me as a recipient of the Inspiring Mothers of Georgia Award. What an awesome recognition, and congrats to all the other honorees. Next, I want to acknowledge Wande Okanorm Meadows, who nominated me. Love you and your mom, Miss O. They are the ultimate community impact dynamic duo. Batman and Robin can't touch them. Gratitude to Almighty God who gives life and blessed me with 2 biological children, Aaron and Erica, who have now given me 7 grandchildren. My greatest joy is to see the great parents they have become to my grands, Montrell, Avery, Carly, Aiden, Autumn, Isla, and Ari, who affectionately call me Gigi. Many thanks also to the hundreds, maybe even thousands of infant to adult learners for allowing me to be part of their learning journey. Nearly 40 years career, a 40-year career in child development, including working at all levels in child care, working with mothers who are trying to get custody back for their children from drug and alcohol addiction, teaching at various colleges and universities, and working for the United Way. But I saved the most impactful for last, my admiration for my dear mother who passed in 1994. She was born in 1914, my goodness, as Alice Crystal Samuel. She had multiple unsuccessful pregnancies and had the one and only me. She was my rock, and she was 42 years old when I was born. She could do everything. She was my mother, my father, my sister, and my brother. She came from a large family, and she knew how to do it all. We were a match made in heaven. She taught me to trust God, to be independent, to be fierce, and to use all the wisdom she had and knowledge and experience she gave me. She was an introvert. She was fearless, intelligent, free-spirited, and can do anything and everything. She taught me how to sew. She taught me how to create. She taught me how to design. She taught me how to survive and navigate life, and how to make a house a home. She knew that I was her sensitive child, loving, intuitive, and a nonconformist. I love you, Mom. Thanks to everyone. Thank you so much for the award.
Hello, everyone. I am Clarissa Edmondson-Bridges, and I am so thankful to be here today. I just want to start off by thanking God for the opportunity for this Inspiring Mothers of Georgia Awards of 2021. Thank you to Healthy Mothers, Healthy Babies for just creating such an amazing space for mothers. And congratulations to all the honorees today. I am so ecstatic just to see all your beautiful faces and hats. This is such a wonderful and just a warming occasion. So I want to start to talk about my inspiration, which would be my husband. My husband and I have been married for almost 15 years. And as soon as I moved to Georgia from Kansas City, Missouri, where I'm originally from, I met him, and he became such a big inspiration in my life. Along with my husband would be my mom and dad. Both of them have since passed. However, my father was a chemist and my mother was a teacher and an educator. And I was always inspired to be a volunteer and to serve, give back. I saw them doing that growing up as a kid in Kansas City, Missouri. And at church, in the neighborhood, they were always very active in the community. So I always knew as an adult that I would want to give back too. I also was a teenage mom. I had my baby when I was pregnant at 16, gave birth at 17. I was attending high school at a performing arts high school, Purcell Academy in the Fine and Performing Arts, and I was forced to leave and go to Teenage Parent Center. However, I learned so much about childbirth, which prepared me, especially with being such a young teenage mom. So my heart goes out to teenage moms. I work in the mother-baby space. I've been a birth worker for over 25 years. And I work locally in Georgia at a local hospital at Emory University Hospital Midtown in Mother Baby. So my whole heart is really wrapped around, especially my patients that are teenagers, my younger patients. Also, I am a certified childbirth educator and facilitator for Healthy Mothers, Healthy Babies and Pickles and Ice Cream Georgia, which is an amazing opportunity to educate virtually online, just like a platform such as this. So this holding space and being able to touch lives through a screen is so amazing to me. And I've been facilitating since 2020 since the pandemic hit. I'm also a graduate of the Healthy Mothers, Healthy Babies Coalition of Georgia cohort of 2019. I went through their certified childbirth education program. Along with that, I'm also a fertility advocate and a pregnancy and infant loss advocate, so I can hold space for those moms that have lost babies. Miscarriage is not talked about a lot, and there's so many different women and fathers experiencing miscarriage, fetal demise, and infant loss, stillborn babies, and things of that nature. And so I have the training through pregnancy and infant loss Pell program as well to help. And we do have patients, of course, in the mother-baby space that I do help that have experienced loss. Along with that, I became a certified nurse assistant back in 1997. I graduated from Job Corps. So I was actually inspired by one of my coworkers that asked me when I was pregnant with my child. She said, "What are you going to do when you graduate?" And I said, "Well, I have a new baby, so my plans have changed." She said, "Won't you look into, the medical field?" And I thought that would be a great way for me to be able to touch lives, because I feel so rewarded when other people's lives are changed through me caring for them. So I stuck with it, and I went off to college. I began to gain more certifications over time. So that's how I began my journey back when I was only 18 years old. I was a little kid trying to figure it out with this little baby. What was I going to do? I know I definitely wanted to do something that was productive, that would help me feel even rewarded at the same time. I also have a daughter. So my son now is 25 years old, and my daughter is 19, Shania. My son is Dondre. My daughter will be graduating from high school this year, and then my son, he is expecting a baby, so I'll be soon to be a grandmother next month. So I'm excited about being a grandmother. Looking forward to that. I'm actually in Texas right now. I'm not in Georgia. I'm here for my son's baby shower. So I had an opportunity to celebrate two things this weekend: this beautiful award and then my son. So I gave you a little bit of snapshot of my life, of my little journey, and things that have inspired me through the years, and how I became who I am today. And I want to talk a little bit about my volunteer work. I have volunteered with a couple of different organizations: Springfield Baptist Church, giving to the hungry, feeding tons and hundreds of families, and also in NPRC, which is Newton Pregnancy Resource Center. I have volunteered there as well. And there's a couple of other organizations. So I'm always making sure that I volunteer and give back, because that is rewarding for me when I can give back to the community. And lastly, I am a foster mom. I've been fostering for 5 years. Just like in the video, I've been taking care of this medically fragile baby and her brother. Her brother's 1 year old. She just turned 8 months old. And so I'm meeting the demands and the needs of her, taking care of her. Fostering is a ministry for us. We don't take it lightly. We feel like it's a blessing to be a part of these children's lives. And we have fostered over 25 different children through respite care and fostering placements. So happy to be a part of that ministry as well. So balancing fostering, being a birth worker, being a certified holistic doula, certified childbirth educator. So this award just means so much to me. So thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us today. As Healthy Mothers, Healthy Babies recognizes me and these beautiful 5 other women. Congratulations to you guys. You are awesome and amazing, and it's an honor to be here with you. I want to say thank you to Healthy Mothers and Healthy Babies for all that you do for the community at large. And thank you for doing this amazing program for us and honoring us today. I want to say thank you to all the amazing women who have ever contributed to my life, who taught me how to be a mom, how to cook, how to clean, who encourage me daily, and to those who continue to call and encourage me. I want to just say thank you to you. I want to say thank you to my children, to Keisha, Isaac, Ronald, Tamisha, Charles, Jayla, Justice, and Jordan. I love you very much. And everything that I do, I hope to leave a legacy for you. To my biggest fan, my husband, Chaka, who is my twin flame. Thank you for always supporting me and loving me through everything that I decide to do in this world. A special thank you to the most amazing mentor a girl could ever ask for, Carolyn Aidman. You are always there for me, teaching me the right way to do things and encouraging me to be great. And I thank you for that. I thank you for introducing me to the Urban Health Initiative and the volunteer efforts that we do through that program and through Emory. As a teen mother, people always ask, well, how did you do it at age 14? Did your mother raise your child for you? How were you able to do it? There's no manual on how to be a mother. There's no manual on how to be the woman that God created you to be. You just have to be. If I could say anything to the moms listening and moms who will listen in the future, it would be to follow your dreams and your destiny. Never give up. Do not believe that what happened in the past can control what happens in your future. You are in control. Believe, pray, and have faith. Thank you to this committee for gracing me and blessing me with this award. I'm truly humbled by it. And my plan and my goal is to continue to do moms proud. And thank you to all the mothers who allowed me to be your doula or childbirth educator in your journey to being a mom. Thank you so much. God bless you. I appreciate this honor.
Good afternoon, and thank you. Wow, I'm very humbled and honored to receive an award for something that I do and love every single day. I get to help to take care and educate first-time moms. We support them throughout their pregnancy and until the baby turns 2. Then they graduate from Nurse Family Partnership with the knowledge of taking care of themselves and their babies. I have been truly blessed to work with the Houston County Health Department Nurse Family Partnership. I work with some of the best nurses in Georgia. I truly do. In fact, one of them nominated me for this award, Chris Sykes. She is a huge inspiration to me. She has taught me so much over the years. She is a great nurse and a great friend. I would also like to thank my family, my parents, especially for letting me move to Georgia 16 years ago and making this our home. My husband, who I could not do life without. He is a huge part of what makes me everything so great in our life. My kids, JT, Mary Catherine. Oh my goodness, I could talk about them all day long. They are grown now, but I love watching and learning from them every day. I love that they are out doing what makes them happy. And I had a small part in that. I just wanted them to know that I love them so much. And to healthy mothers, healthy babies. Wow, thank you so much. This journey has been unbelievable. From the flowers, the signs, the gifts, it was truly a blessing, and I'm honored to receive this award with these amazing moms. And I just want to say thank you so much for what y'all do. We sort of work in the same field. We love mamas, we love babies, and it has been a truly, truly blessing that, and an honor to receive this award. So thank you very much.
Good afternoon to all. I have always had a passion for children and their well-being. As my three beautiful children, Franklin, 33, Sierra, 31, and Jabari, 28, has moved out and left aboard in our household. So I found myself searching for something to do. I began volunteering at a local domestic violence shelter. It tore my heart as I saw the constant need and longing those children were seeking. During this time is when my husband and I decided to become foster parents. By using the resource to help not only children, but their parents that work struggling households. The journey has truly made me understand the need for more foster parents and programs to assist families in need. We have two loving foster babies in our home who has been with us since birth. Bo is a 19-month-old toddler who is curious, smart, and very loving. And Rachel is a 9-month-old infant with beautiful blue eyes, ginger hair, and a great smile. Both babies come from family situations that were not ideal, but are now in a loving and caring home. This accomplishment is something I did alone. I'd like to thank my husband, Tyree Wilson, Katie Griffin, representative for CASA, and I could not forget my elementary school principal, Tanisha Wright, who always honored my time off to take care of my babies. Last but not least, thank you, Healthy Mothers, Healthy Babies, for offering recognition to a foster mom like me. I humbly appreciate you. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much to those 6 honorees. Thank you so much for those words of wisdom and words of gratitude. You know, your stories inspire each and every single one of us, and thank you so much for sharing them. Well, we've traveled our own journey together, haven't we? We have come to the end of our program, and like I promised you, I have the winners of the awards that we talked about. Remember now? Best overall hat and most unique hat. So are we ready to hear who the winners are? Are you ready? Are you jumping? Are you at the edge of your seat wanting to hear who has won? I'm gonna do a little drum roll. And the winner is for best overall hat. It is Dr. Bisa Lewis. So congratulations to you for having the best overall hat. And for the most unique hat, the winner is Brenda Cohen. So congratulations to you, Brenda Cohen, for having the most unique hat. The winners will be notified via email, so please check your email inbox to get notified about how to receive those prizes. So congratulations again, and thank you so much for participating. And like I said, you put the best accessory on today, which is your smile. So thank you so much. Please remember to text to give. Remember, this year we set the standard a little bit higher, right? And if you can help us together, we can achieve that goal. So text and text and text to give, and at the end of that screen. So it has been my deep honor to be with you this afternoon. Thank you so much for everything you do, for our amazing honorees. And I am going to turn this over now to our Executive Director of Healthy Mothers, Healthy Babies Coalition of Georgia, Kai Lindberg, and she's going to be with you to give you the closing remarks. Thank you so much, and have a blessed rest of the day.
So, with all good things, I guess they have to come to an end. And I wanted to share with you a few tenets that I use as I navigate this world, grace and humility. And I think those were lifted up in today's stories, and also with the tech snafus that happened, right? We give ourselves grace in understanding that motherhood is not perfection, nor is the Wi-Fi, apparently. And also humility. I have had some personal challenges to overcome in my life, but when you're surrounded by a village and hear the impact of so many other women in this world, it really humbles yourself and lifts up how privileged and blessed I lead as a mother and as a nonprofit executive. HMHB is truly committed to supporting mothers and babies across the state. If you need help, and transparently, I'm lonely, I just want you to reach out to me and say hi. That's completely okay. Please, please, please reach out to us. We truly appreciate you. We appreciate the amazing mothers that we've honored today and all the many nominees who may not have gotten the award, but who certainly deserve the recognition. Thank you to our board of directors, our sponsors, and the amazing staff at HMHBGA. And I wish you all a prosperous and restorative weekend. Have a good day. Bye.